Good evening and thanks for joining in. I'm Haley Culver with this evening's news. Just in tonight about the status of honeybee colonies in America. Honeybees and their importance have been gaining a lot of attention, and a recent survey of U.S. beekeepers found that 67% of bee colonies experienced a greater population loss this winter than the acceptable level, and 23% of American bee colonies were completely lost over the winter. Scientists are continually seeking new ideas for keeping U.S. bee colonies alive and well. Now, speaking of agricultural statistics, tonight we have an exclusive interview from a very special woman who has made a significant impact in the world of statistics. In fact, she is commonly credited as the First Lady of Statistics. We sat down with Gertrude Cox to discuss her career and her contributions to her field. Good evening, Mrs. Cox. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Culver. It's good to be here.
All right. Well, I was just hoping that you could tell our viewers a little bit about your educational background and how you got into the field of statistics.
Well, gladly. Well, I grew up in Iowa. I was going to be a deaconess in my church because, growing up in the 20s, it's just what you got to do as a woman. But I decided to follow my academic career. I earned a master's degree from Iowa State College in 1931. I was actually the first person ever to get that degree.
Oh, wow.
I know. I was right up there with, I think we call them feminists. I'm not sure. I became interested in making statistics more applicable and accessible to agriculture and biology, my favorite subjects. In 1940, I became the head department of experimental statistics in the School of Agriculture in North Carolina State College. And I apparently beat several men out of that job.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what kinds of other work have you done?
Oh, well, I spent my life in teaching. I stayed at North Carolina State College, and I helped create many departments there. Some famous people you may know. Harold Hotelling, I got him over and had him create his own department. William Cochran, he came over and he created his own department. And I let them teach, and I let them work, and I just raised the funds. And I even retired once, but I decided, what is a girl going to do? So I decided to come back, and I joined many statistics organizations, and I traveled, 23 countries. It's a beautiful world. Definitely get out there and see it, lady, okay?
For sure.
I tried, so I ended up working on several projects after I traveled, and it's been good ever since.
Wow, sounds like an incredible lifetime.
It was.
All right, well,
it is. I'm still here. I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, now Mrs. Cox had mentioned working with a Mr. Harold Hotelling, and he is joining us now to discuss his work at NC State.
Well, hello. Now, Gertrude was the first director of the Institute of Statistics, and she recruited me as the new statistics department of mathematical statistics. That's a mouthful, but I was really smart, basically. That's all I'm saying. So I was a professor and chair of that same department, and we flourished under her leadership. She was so beautiful. But that's a different story. Sorry. Get on topic. With her guidance, I was able to become Keenan Professor of Statistics, which is a big deal. During my time there, I laid out what you know as confidence intervals. So those of you who hate statistics, you can blame me. Sorry. But none of my work would have been done without the possible of Gertrude's support and love. But we'll say that for another time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Cox also worked with this handsome man joining us, Mr. William Cochran. He's joining us from the Harvard Statistics Department to talk about his work and past history with Mrs. Cox.
Well, I'm originally from Scotland. I'm the eldest in my family. I came from the middle-class home, but we won lots of prizes for my academics. I moved to North Carolina, after World War II to help create the graduate program at North Carolina Institute of Statistics, which actually involved spanned several universities. I then moved on to work in biostatistics, basically biology and statistics. Biology is a fan. Gertrude loves biology. So I moved on to Johns Hopkins. You may have heard of it. While there, I wrote a book called Sampling Techniques and Experimental Design, which you originally learned about in class. And when the second edition came around, Miss Gertrude helped me write it, make it, same thing, whatever. Then I moved to Harvard, where I currently work. With her guidance, Miss Gertrude helped me become the teacher I am today. I will always cherish the years we worked together.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Lastly, we are joined by Bernard Greenberg.
I had the pleasure of working with Gertrude for many years. I pride myself on my involvement in the lives of my students, colleagues, and Gertrude did the exact same. She was close with the wives and families of all the men she worked with. I did my best to finally get minority students involved in school activities, and Gertrude, bless her heart, focused on getting female students interested in careers in higher education.
Gertrude Cox is very well known for her work at NC State. Her work has made a lasting impact on the fields of agriculture and biology. Thanks in large part to her, NC State has one of the most famous statistics departments and has become world renowned. Her leadership has produced many other notable statisticians, including the gentleman that we were able to interview. That's all for tonight. Have a great evening.
Did you like the accent?
Yes. Thank you. So I was hoping that you could tell our audience a little bit about your educational background and your work in the field of statistics.
Yes, gladly so. Well, I grew up in Iowa. I was going to be a deaconess in my church, but then I decided that, I'm going to focus on my academic career.
Mrs. Cox also worked with this handsome man joining us, Mr. William Cochran. He's joining us from the Harvard Institute of Statistics. That's not right.
Gertrude Cox is very well known for her work in New York
That's fine.
State.